Hey guys, welcome back to the garage. Another interesting kit that I found at an antique store. Matter of fact, the video that I did on the 57 Ford comparison, the 1963 kit, I got at that same antique store from the same booth. So I went back there the other day and I just went back and checked this guy's booth out, and lo and behold, he's got this 57 Ford kit. Ranchero. This obviously what caught my eye was the lettering there and the kit on the box. But the thing that threw me was this name Advent. Never heard of it before. I'm like, well, that's interesting. Maybe a new model manufacturer that I say new to me, an old model manufacturer that I had never heard of. I'm going to check this thing out. So they got it out of there for me, out of the case, and I started looking at it. And I'm looking around the box, and it's, some pretty cool old box art. I mean, really, I say cool, it's kind of plain. But as I'm looking at it, I'm thinking to myself, man, it looks familiar. So I asked to take it out of the box, and here's what I found. It was already built. They didn't paint it. Whoever did it didn't paint it. Just put it together. Tailgate still works nice. And as I'm looking at this thing, I'm like, wow, you know what? That really, really looks like a Revell kit to me. But I was thrown by the name Advent on the box. So as I'm looking it over good, I happen to turn it over. I'll move it this way, and I see this. That's going to show. Come on and focus. Come on and focus for me, buddy. There you go, right there. Look at that. Revell ink. It is a Revell kit. So I was still kind of surprised that it said Advent on the box. So I couldn't wait to get home to do a little digging. So as I got home, I'm going to set this guy down a minute. As I got home and looked here, I look on the instructions. And I'm still, not seeing any Revell until I look down the bottom of this page. Right there. 1975 by Revell ink. So this was a repop of the old 57 Ford Ranchero. And it was a Revell kit, or is a Revell kit. Now just a quick history on this thing, and then I'll get up to this, then I'll get up to the Advent part. So the 57 Ranchero, and I'm just gonna kind of spin this guy around as I go, as I talk about it. Originally released in 1960. So the original release date was then. And then sometime, I don't know, shortly thereafter, I would say within a couple of years, I looked on ScaleMates and it didn't really have a clear year. They did a second release, only it was motorized. So what they had was, they had a motor back here in the bed, I believe it was, a notch cutout. I've seen pictures of them in the past. I just don't have any pictures to show you now. I wish I did. I wish I knew how to do that. But this early on, I'm not there yet. So bear with me. I'll just have to describe it to you. I think I had a notch out here in the bed, and I had a little motor in it. And it said it took 2 pen cell batteries. Now, whatever pen cell batteries are, I can assume maybe like a AA. I don't know. Maybe some of the older guys might know what the pen cell is. It might just be a term they used back then for like a AA or a AAA battery that we use today. So I really don't know that part of it. But so that was released sometime after 1960 as a motorized version. Then I guess this thing actually would run across the floor, the table, or whatever, as far as I know. And matter of fact, Lindbergh had some of those kits as well, because I've got an old well, I don't remember the year of the truck, but it's like a little old Ford truck. And I did it kind of to look rat rodish. I did it flat black, you know, red interior, red accents on it. It had the moon or the disc covers on it. And actually, it's got a cover on the bed. If you pull that cover off the bed, the cutout for the motor is still in the bed of that truck. So, I mean, at least this one, it looks like they've actually molded another or used the original floor pan in that and covered that notch up. So, but the Lindbergh one, as they continue to repop those out, they just never bothered to recast or whatever to cover that hole up. So, little interesting note on that too. But this was released as and offered as a motorized version at one time. And then there was another release in 73 as and it had actually was a new box art on that. And like this said 1975 on those instructions. So I would assume that carried on past 73 with the same box and, you know, and as it would be. But, and then another release with a new box in 1979, which is this kit right here. But this time, it carried the Advent label on it. Now, from what I can gather on this, and this is just, I think an old thread that I read on the internet. The best I can gather is these were sold with that name, I guess, apparently as a lower price point. Now, one report in there, one person that I'd seen actually had a claim that these were sometimes sold at Radio Shack with a price as low as 99 cents. Now, I would think even by 1979 standards, that would be really, really cheap in 79. But I don't know that for a fact. And I don't know how factual that is about Radio Shack being sold there. So it's hard to say. It could be. Now, I know Matt there with Model Car Videos had a video recently here on I think it was a 1960 Corvette. And he had made mention on his about how the box was actually shorter than your standard model bike. And this is the same way. And the art of this one sort of resembles what that one was. But it actually said Revell on the box. It didn't have the Advent on there. So they very well could have been sold at Radio Shack at some point. Although, as he said in his video, there's nowhere on the box that, you know, indicates Radio Shack anywhere. So whatever that was, and I don't know if it was solely there or other places, but that is one thing in a thread that I did read, that some of these were sold at Radio Shack stores. So, but I guess they put the Advent on there. That I guess it was just for like a lower price point. And I think that only lasted about a year. I think what I read in there was like $79.80 was about the only time this box with the Advent label on it had sold. So that's what really struck me about this kit is, number one, I remember this kit from when I was a kid, which would lead me up to one of the next releases was in 1984, and that was as the Saints series. And but they had changed the body. I think this was the last issue with the regular top on it, because that issue in 1984, they actually chopped the top. And I've just happened to have an example of that. Now, this is really bad shape. It's actually beyond a parts car, I think. But anyway, here's the chopped version. I mean, they really, really knocked that roof line down on there. Almost extreme in my opinion, but I mean, I guess they probably would have done that. Maybe on some real cars like that. But anyway, this was the chopped version. And this was from that Saints series, because I guess they had another one in 87 of that chopped one. But this one is from 84. I built this way back in the day. But it's like I said, it's reduced. And I actually started, because this was kind of bad shape, you know, even when I mean, not long after I built it, or whatever. So I actually started robbing parts from this to see if I could get them to work on the Country Squire 57 wagon that I've got. And it's interesting with that frame that I showed you. And here's just the other, I mean, it's just, there's the inside door panel. This is the other side of that. But I mean, you can see the difference here on that roof line. See how much shorter this one is than the original. Which is why I like this one so well, because it's still got that standard height roof. And I like that on there. I mean, it's just cool looking. Now, the interesting part on this was I showed you on that frame, right there where it says Revell, and it's not going to focus for me again. Maybe. Get the light right. There you go. Revell ink right there. And that's all it says. But if we look at the Country Squire one, which I believe it's virtually the same. Let me get this one up. We'll look at this one here. It's virtually the same pan. Look at that. I believe that's identical. Same mold and everything. So Country Squire wagon, Ranchero. So, but what I want to show you here is right here. Get the light right. Now this one says, and I apologize if that's not going to focus for me. It says, copyright 1957, Revell Inc., Venice, California. I apologize, that's not focusing for me like I wanted it to. But it's got the date 1957. But if you look on this one, you can see where around that Revell ink, they've just blotted the other stuff out. So they took the 1957, copyright 1957, and the Venice, California, they've taken it off of there. So just some interesting notes on that. And then they just use those same molds, you know, to pop out this other stuff. The same molds as this one, because this one actually would have come first. Because, you know, this obviously was released in 57. And that is the Country Squire. So that's from this kit here. So just kind of found that really kind of interesting. I did not know about this Advent brand before. And we'll just take a look at the instructions here while we got it out. Pretty much the same stuff. 57 Ford Ranchero. Tells a little bit about it up here. Get your engine assembly there. And then, of course, your multi-piece body. Oh, and I tell you what I'm going to do with this one. I'm actually going to leave it just like it is. Because, guys, I'm sure the ones of you have built these, it's rough enough the first time around. So trying to take it apart and rebuild it and everything, I think it just might be more of a headache. And it's kind of cool the way it is because it kind of gives it a promo look almost, in my opinion. So, but there's your putting your interior panels in, you know, your tailgate, getting all that. There's your front, tops of your fenders, your front panel there with your headlights. And then you get putting your rear tail panel in there. Wheels, tires, and all. And then interior. And then, of course, the bed. And apparently there was no other custom parts with this other than, because it gives you Laker pipes here. And then it gives you, you just got like a custom grill. And I guess it does give you an option for like dual headlights, which almost would look like a 59 with those in there, you know, of sorts. So, and I'm going to go around the box too and show you some of the stuff that's on the side of the box. And then, of course, it shows you putting the top on. Now, apparently this did come with some fender skirts. Cruiser skirts, I think is what they call these. I'm going to pull that in a little bit closer to you. Yeah, cruiser skirts, I think is what they called those. And then apparently come with an option for a tonneau cover, which actually I have from the other Ranchero. But because they used these rails, I think this was an either or. unless you would put that on first and then these rails, because I tried to set that tonneau cover on there, and it's just not fitting up with the rails that they've got on. So I'm just going to leave it. But like this come with spotlights, a couple aerials back here. And so now they put the mirrors on the doors. It calls for you putting the mirrors on the fenders up here, but they put the mirrors on the doors. And as I was looking, I said the only thing this was missing was the mirror head right here. But this was in a Ziploc bag inside the box when I got it. And that mirror was actually in that bag. So I do have that mirror. I'll get it attached on again one of these days. But I'm going to leave this thing the way it is, mainly because this is how it was done when it was new. So no reason. And it's a straight enough build out of the box that I think it's going to make a nice looking shelf sitter. Piece of history. There's that custom grill they give you for it. So I don't think they had an option for like a standard grill, because that grill would look a little bit different in that, you know, if it's like an original style grill. But opening hood, of course. And see, they didn't paint anything. So if nothing else, it would make it look like a Promo with an engine in it. So I'm just going to leave it that way. I might polish it, try to polish the plastic a little bit, get some of this roughness off the top there. But other than that, just going to set it and enjoy it. A neat find, I thought, at the antique store like that. And just, I've never seen that box or that brand before. So I thought that was an interesting thing there. So slide that back. We're going to just walk around the box here real quick. So we got 57 Ford Ranchero, custom pickup, 1/25th scale, molded in color. Photo of painted and assembled model. They've got a little bit different shade than in the box there. Model kit. And then we'll just come down here on this side. Let's look at this here. 57 Ford Ranchero, custom pickup, 1/25th scale. Authentic suspension, fully detailed underbody. Chassis including exhaust system and gas tank. Clear windows, teardrop spotlights, rearview mirrors, custom styled antennas, dual or single headlights. We looked at that. Authentically textured floorboard. Optional tonneau cover and chrome hand railing. Thunderbird 312 cubic inch engine, full engine compartment. And they give you optional custom. Okay, maybe they did have an original style. I didn't notice in the instructions, but maybe they did have the original style. Optional custom grille, Goodyear tires, opening tailgate, and then they just repeated the engine compartment there. But here's a few more. Now these were pictures here, I believe, carried over from the 73 release of this, with basically this same type of box art, only it would have said Revell on the box. And just here on the end, there's just another picture like was on the top. And then over here, they just got some more features. So we got chrome hubcaps, detailing, complete interior, optional chrome lake pipes, fender skirts. And then we see the date right here. Come on and focus for me. 1979 by Revell Inc., Venice, California. Made in USA. It says Advent, a division of Revell Inc., Venice, California. And here, I thought this was interesting on the side of the box here. Check this out. It says important. As one of the earliest designed, fully detailed car models, this kit is engineered differently than the models of today. The kit contains a multiple-piece body, separate fenders, roof, trunk, that requires assembly before attaching to the chassis. So, another wonderful multi-piece. Never was a fan of multi-piece bodies, but yeah, that's the way they did it. And most of your Revells back in the 50s, 60s, I guess, that's how they were. Now, I don't know when they started going to casting or molding the full one-piece bodies, but this one apparently never made it, because all these releases, even up into the 84 and 87 releases, were this multi-part body. So they use those same molds all the way through. Now, I know you can probably get some in a resin, but I would like to see one of these model companies come back with another 57 Ranchero in a full body mold. Now they've got the Del Rio Ranch wagon. Revell that did the Del Rio Ranch wagon, and if I don't miss my guess, it would be close to this chassis here. So I don't know that it would be that hard for them to do that. I mean, I would kind of like to see that, but, you know, who knows? But nonetheless, we got another piece of history here. So I just thought that was a neat find, guys, and wanted to share it with you. And that booth that I found this at, he's got some really cool stuff. If I had a ton of money with me, I could have got a lot of neat stuff. I mean, he had a Sox and Martin, a Johann Sox and Martin Cuda there. The box looked good shape. He had 90 bucks on it. So I didn't even bother looking at it because I really didn't even have the money at the time to get that. So I just looked at this one, and this was the one that I liked the most out of what he had. He had a 51 AMT 51 Chevy. I think was an original release. Well, at least with the box art that it had. It was the like the copper colored one. It had a Revell 53 Chevy. It had been started, little messed up, so I didn't bother with that one. But this was really cool because I like the Rancheros, the 50s, and I just like that other video. I love the 57 Ford. Just a beautiful car, and they did such a nice job on when they did the Ranchero. So, and then if I remember right, they did this Ranchero through 59, and then the Ranchero for Ford never showed up, I guess, until the late 60s, I think it was. Because I think my dad had a 69. It was a green one, had a little cap on it. But I think it was a 69 or a 70. So they stopped the production of these after 59, and then again until, I know it was late 60s, early 70s. So just an interesting thing to note there too. But so this car, it's going to stay like it is. It's going to sit on the shelf. Glad I found it. It's not all busted up. Like, you know, there are some things that, like this really wasn't all that straight on here. But, you know, I don't mind. It's going to sit on the shelf. I'm going to enjoy it. So, well, guys, that's it. 57 Ford Ranchero with the Advent label on the box. The small mystery that I had in my head when I first seen it now solved, as I just did a little digging and found that out. So, just a division of Revell, and I guess apparently, you know, like I said, could be offered a little bit lower price point. So, well, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Just wanted to share this with you. Some neat finds. You never know what you're going to find. These antique stores, garage sales, whatever. Go out there, check them out, see what you come up with. Hey, guys, this is Eric from Eric's Model Garage. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. So for now, I'm going to say, God bless you. Happy modeling.